Hey guys, hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to be installing the carbon fiber STI style hood on Yvette's Subaru Impreza. So this is the STI style hood for the 5th gen Subaru Impreza and Crosstrek. Now the only thing that we really need to do is swap over the latch from the factory hood onto this hood. Past that, it's just bolting it in position, and that is pretty much it. We are going to do something extra though. This mesh right here is this nice little aluminum chicken wire type mesh is what I usually call it. We did pick up some nice plastic honeycomb mesh that we're going to be swapping in. So before we put this hood on the car, we're going to swap the mesh and then we can get on with the install. It's actually held on very simply. It has these little tabs right here and you just pull that, fold it, and you'll be able to slide it out. So yeah, this is literally all that the mesh is. It's really nothing fancy. It's more just something that's pretty casually put in place. We measured the opening to give us a little bit of clearance on all sides. 3.5 inches tall by about 25 inches long. Should give us plenty, and we'll be able to maneuver that really easily. So we're making marks to cut.
And mind you, this is Expo marker, so it'll come off. We used the old one to kind of serve as a little template of what we should cut the other one to look like. Flattened it out, trimmed off the excess, and we're like, okay, well that's about the length we need. That's about the height that we need. But we're doing it little by little so that it'll fit perfectly, and once we cut, you know, we're kind of done.
We can also just cut the top just a long ways if you want.
But I like this edge.
She wants to keep the flat edge.
Yeah, because it looks neat.
Okay.
If you keep the edge for that flat bottom, that little tiny slit that's left right here acts as a good place for the tabs to slide into.
We have the new mesh now completely installed. It is very secure, so definitely really happy with that. Next order of business is to swap the latch so that we can pop the hood in place. Also might need to drill a hole for the hood prop.
Which size do you think it is?
Good starting point's always a 10.
There we go. It's a 12.
Alright.
There we go. Here.
There she goes. I wonder how far we can get it with just finger tightening. So we're now going to drill the hole for the hood prop. There you go.
I get scared.
Now what you're going to do next is you're going to drill another hole.
Here?
Yeah. And then you're going to just try to connect the holes with the rotary tool. You know, that thing was only 19 bucks. And it comes with like all these different textures.
And you've gotten so much use out of it. Trying to get it neat.
It looks good. I like it. Just want to take a quick second to tell you guys about my partner for this video, Mint Mobile. You can join the nation's largest 5G mobile network for as little as $15 a month. Switching is a lot easier than most people think because you can do the entire thing from the comfort of your own home, being that they sell directly to you online, which means you do not need to go to a physical location to activate your phone, so the entire process only takes about 15 minutes. They do this by the use of a digital SIM card called eSIM, but if for whatever reason your phone is not compatible with eSIM, they'll send you a physical one free of charge. My absolute favorite thing that they do is every single plan they offer comes with unlimited talk and text, lightning fast 5G, and free mobile hotspot. And if you want to do the switch but you don't want to do it alone, they have modern family plans available with as little as 2 lines. If you're interested in reliable coverage and fast data for a fraction of the cost, go to trymintmobile.com/Tito to get started. Or you can scan this QR code right here. I want to give a big shout out to Mint. Now back to the install.
Damn, she moved. Oh shoot, yeah, where are we gonna put it? Because I like how we didn't think about that. We're just like, let's just take it off.
We're excited.
And it's off.
It's pretty late. Big skinny thoughts.
Skinny!
Now with the hood off, I will admit one thing that I forgot about are these little bumper stoppers, whatever you want to call them. Nice.
She's off.
For a little bit of backstory on this hood, the 5th gen Impreza never came with a hood scoop. And with that, the current gen WRX, the car that does come with a hood scoop, was never available as a hatchback here in the States. Now, we wanted to see if there was a way to bridge that, and so finding this hood, not only did it add the iconic Subaru hood scoop, but it was also available in carbon fiber, which was absolutely insane to see that that was available for this car. So kept a few tabs open and found that the price was fluctuating depending on where you're buying it from. I found the cheapest one from Car ID, which I had bought parts from there before, and at that point we were like, hey, even if this is an error, might as well take a shot at it because it's probably not going to get lower than that. But to our surprise, we got the notification that it had shipped and went to expect it, and so here we are installing it, and it is looking absolutely gorgeous. And for the record, I'm basically just going back and forth on each of them because I don't want it to pull one way or the other. I just kind of want to gradually get them all to a good level of being tight. The light feels so nice to just be able to walk all over that box.
Yeah, not being scared. Hold up, can I just to kind of,
just a little glimpse.
just a little blade.
Whoa.
Mind you, I have not clicked it in, but
The cleanest part of your car.
yeah, that's a little embarrassing, but you know.
I think we got the mesh just right too. Looks really nice. You got it? Alright, take it easy over here.
I know, I'm over here acting like it's on.
So before tightening entirely, we're gonna see about the fitment. So if it needs to, say, pull this way, I can tighten these first and then these. But as is, it's about even all the way throughout. So let's go ahead and set it down and see how it lines up.
Do you want me to like fully close it?
Let's look at it first. Excuse me. See how
She
it's,
looks good here. I mean,
she's actually looking pretty even.
mhm.
Okay, so you see these lines here?
It's about a nail.
Yeah, it looks like this one has a little bit of a bigger gap than that side.
Oh yeah, it is. Cause look, the
Yeah.
other one, my nail would fit, but my finger was chunky enough that it wouldn't go through.
Eventually.
The hood has been bolted down onto the car and it is looking absolutely gorgeous. Now the last thing to do to complete the install is to replace the hood stops, hood bumpers. These pieces right here, they have a few different names. Subaru specifically calls them stopper F hood, and here's the part number right here. Now these things function a little bit as a spacer and a little bit as a dampener, being that if it's gonna rattle, this piece is surrounded in this rubber material, so it'll dampen the noise. Now you can find these pieces on the factory hood, and that's the cool thing about this one. It does have little markings for where these go, so you just drill a hole, pop it into place. The annoying thing, however, is that they are basically a one-way type part, meaning there's a way to install them, but there's not a way to remove them. So if you try to remove the one on your factory hood to put it on this one, just gonna break it. It's only annoying because I didn't know I needed to get a new set because we did the install Saturday night and then dealerships closed on Sundays, so if we need a new one, we had to wait till today, Monday, to get these ones. But I do want to give a big shout out to Ewing Subaru of Plano. They had a few of these in stock and they were ready pretty quickly, so I just went to go scoop them up. So now we can finish the install. We're about to pull the car out for its first test drive, just with the hood, make sure it's not gonna fly off or something, or if there's any
So-
rattles and whatnot.
If you find it on the side of I-20, you know it was mine.
But the cool thing is you can actually see the hood scoop. And since I've never been in another Subaru with a hood scoop, I don't know if it actually shows from the hood or from the driver's perspective. But here you can see it and it looks really cool. The speed limit here, the highest is 25. And at 25 miles an hour, there's no rattles, no noises or anything. Looks to be solid. Granted, this is more of a highway driver, so we're gonna have more testing to do, but it's looking pretty promising from the start. At least from the other people that have similar carbon fiber hoods that post online, they said unless you're going like 120, you should be fine. There's the
Germany
Autobahn.
has really fast highways, right?
Yeah, they have the Autobahn, which there's no speed limit on that one.
Hell yeah, I wish we had that.
It's actually where it's a car culture, not a rite of passage, but it's like a bucket list item for car culture people. Because you're like, I want to take my car over there, I want to drive, because there's no speed limit, but there are regulations on like driving conditions and whatnot. Obligatory car wash. The test drive went successfully. The hood is still on the car, did not fly off or anything. And one thing I do want to point out, the grill, don't worry, that will be attended to here very soon. It's just the way that we're scheduling this is we wanted to do the hood first, just in case there's any sort of hiccup or something that we needed to address. Could have the time for it. By the time you're watching this, the grill's already going to be all set up and everything. But just for the sake of maximizing our time with this hood, as it's a little bit of a larger project, wanted to give it a heads up. From here on out, the main focus is really just going to be to see the hood in daily use, see how it functions, if there's any limitations or things to account for, which I will be addressing in a review video coming here soon. So if you guys have any questions, just comment them down below and I'll see if I can get to them in that video. But one thing I do really want to point out are the body lines that the hood has. So you can see there's one that goes from this A-pillar down, and it looks really nice. There's also one suddenly on the inside of that right here. It lines up very, very well, whereas the scoop itself has its own new body line right here. Now, the install itself was pretty straightforward. I won't say it was specifically easy, but I will say the hardest part of this entire job was really just cutting out the mesh, because it took a little bit more effort, but it does have mesh already in position, so you can run that if you want to. The main note that I do have on this hood is going to be the fitment, which is something that you're going to deal with aftermarket body panels. It's very, very close. I would rate it about a 7 out of 10, just not necessarily perfectly there. My main reasoning for giving it a 7 out of 10 is really just the body gaps. They're not super significant and it's relatively uniform throughout the whole way, but it could be just a little bit closer. I did take this video of the factory body gap between the hood and the fender. You can see it's relatively slim. This one is a little bit more spread out, but when you look at it compared to the other gaps in the body, you can see it's pretty close. So a finger doesn't fit here. It's pretty close to fitting a finger, but if you go, say, to the trunk section, this actually does fit a finger. So it's not necessarily perfect for the hood, but for the other aspects of the vehicle, I would say it's relatively similar. With that said, there is some malleability here, and there are ways to get it to sit a little bit more flush, especially if you just put some weight down. Super minimal, but you can see it closes in that gap, and if you can get it to that point, I think you would be rivaling the factory body gaps, which is basically what we're going for. So that's also going to be part of the review video if we can achieve that. If we can't, and you're just going to kind of sit with it, they do suggest professional installation just to get everything as close to factory as possible. But the main thing is going to be the difference between carbon fiber and then non-carbon fiber, because you can get this hood in, I believe it's fiberglass, if not FRP. And if you get that one, then obviously you can shave pieces down, you can mess with it a little bit more. It is going to be something that you can work with, because part of the process of installing that hood would be painting it. Whereas this one, doors in the back, whereas this one being in the glossy carbon fiber finish, there's only so much you can do to really get it to fit perfectly, quote unquote. That is where it is a little bit more forgiving for this install, because it is on a hinge, and the hinge you can mess with a little bit, as well as the bracket a little bit. And for just fine tuning it a little here and there and not being anywhere near professionals, I think it came out pretty good. So for being a little weekend project, I'm definitely really happy with how it came together. It also feels pretty good to be able to give some perspective on this hood, rather than just, you know, seeing a listing somewhere and speculating. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and I definitely feel like this is what Subaru should have done from the factories. Nice little hood scoop, similar to the Subaru Lavorg, I believe is the name of it. It's the wagon that they have in Mexico, I believe. It looks really cool. It's a wagon with the hood scoop. Looks gorgeous. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.